Hey, what is going on, guys? This is the SS Ultimate Goku back with another video, and today I'm going to be talking about my thoughts on the ending of Pokemon Journey, um um and Ash Ketchum's journey. I just finished watching the entire Pokemon Journey series just now. It took me a while. Obviously, a lot of things going on, a lot of other anime I'm watching, and other things going on in my life. So I could not get all the way to the finish line for the series until now. Now, for the most part, I mostly knew a lot of the stuff that already was happening. I obviously knew Ash was going to win against Leon already by the time, because I was already, I think it was like in the middle of the second season when, this stuff came out or whatever. When I started watching the final series. Um, so I had a long way to go, but I finally finished it. And, you know, got a little emotional watching the ending and the last couple episodes. Also still kind of mad about certain moments in the in the ending series that, as somebody who's been watching the series since I was 8, because I started watching Pokemon literally from the beginning. I started watching it. It was the very first anime I ever watched because I didn't know what anime was back then. So Pokemon was my very first anime. Didn't know it was an anime back then, but it was my first anime. Um, so I more or less made sure that I wanted to watch the last journey that they did for Ash in its entirety, not just watch a couple episodes here and there that were important, you know, which, it's what I usually had done for some of the later seasons, the past couple of seasons that they've been doing. But I made myself watch the entire Pokemon Journeys Pokemon series until I got finished with it, and I'm finished with it now. And you know, I think, in terms of the cameos, because it was pretty much a nostalgia fest throughout the entire series. Like, they were bringing back a lot of the old characters and whatnot. Um, they were bringing back a bunch of the old characters, and they did their best, but a lot of them were rushed. Like, the whole, and a lot of things didn't make sense. Like, the writers kind of really screwed up on a lot of things. Iris randomly just becoming a champion, I thought was stupid. I know in the game she's a champion, but in the anime she was not a champion. She shouldn't just been magically made a champion. They tried to explain it that, after she left, Ash or whatever, that, as companion or whatever, one of the companions from the Black and White series, that she made her mission to become a champion of Univra. I was not a fan of that because I just thought that just didn't make sense. They would just do that quickly, but you know, um, Leon winning or Ash beating Leon obviously was expected. Um, I did like that they, for the final battle sequence, they put in the theme song, the original theme song. I know in the Japanese they did something different, but I'm glad they did that for the English fans. Um, and also in the final 15 episodes of Ash reuniting with Brock and Misty, they also had they also did the original theme song, which I thought was a really cool thing. Um, but a lot of the things in the final 15 episodes, there were some things with the rod, the Misty rod, and why he wasn't using it anymore. Um, they kind of answered that question. Um, but some unanswered questions they didn't answer, which is really unfortunate. Um, it was a flat ending in terms of a conclusion, because at the end of the episode, Ash, is going after the Entei, um, and that's the end of it. So he's continuing on a journey. Um, you know, the Latios and Latias plot, which kind of prioritized the final 15 episodes, as Latias was following Ash. Um, so the biggest complaint about this is I didn't know until the end of it, um, of Latios and Latios' departure, that this was in fact the same one from Pokemon Heroes, the movie. They do show Bianca at the end, and they show Latias, um, transforming into Bianca on the swing. That was, aside from the Pokemon, the first movie, I was always a huge fan of Pokemon Heroes. I have the original DVD set that came out. Um, I begged my mom for that DVD. And I got that DVD, and I watched it a lot when I was a kid, when it first came out. When it came out, it was one of my favorite Pokemon movies, actually. If not my favorite, obviously the first movie has a lot of nostalgia, but Pokemon Heroes was such a well done movie. I think plot oriented wise, it was probably one of the better Pokemon movies they had done. And so I really did like that that was what they chose for the final 15. Then again, I guess since Go spent the entire season, the entire journey season, trying to capture Mew, I guess they couldn't do Mew or Mewtwo anyways. But that was such a favorite of mine, and apparently it was to a lot of the other people. But again, what didn't make sense about it is they tried to make it seem like that they weren't the same Latios and Latias. And even Misty and Brock tried to proclaim that, they didn't know where they were from and whatnot, and which just doesn't make sense, because that would imply they forgot who they were. Um, that would imply that they never met them, which we know is bullshit, because we see where they're from, and that's obviously Brock and Misty were the ones that were with Ash during the events of Pokemon Heroes, so they should have known who they were. Um, so that was something that I was disappointed about. Again, the writers just kind of forgetting or just intentionally not caring. I don't know. Um, Final episode had Ash wearing the hat from the rebooted series, from the rebooted movie, which isn't canon to the anime series, because that didn't happen. Um, you know what I mean? So his hat being shaped that way shouldn't have happened. Now, of course, he gives this hat away in exchange for the other hat for Sunny. And then the biggest disappointment was the father. They mentioned the father at the beginning of the episode. At the end of the episode, Dahlia, Ash's mom, says, "Oh yeah, he left early," and they don't mention who it was or anything like that. But he does get Ash a new hat, which is basically the original hat that he had when he started. That was not the new hat. That was the original hat. So again, writers not making sense with Pokemon again, or at least with the continuity. Um, so yeah, there was that. I was disappointed about that. That upset me. I was like, can you at least tell us? Can you at least tell us who it is? God damn it, Pokemon Company! Why does it have to be a secret to what Ash's dad looks like? God damn it all! Who cares? Like, why are they so obsessed with not telling us who the father is? I just, Like, this is the end of Ash's journey, and you can't tell us who the goddamn father is, man. Like, give us something. Now in terms of the final episode storyline plot, with Sunny being a ghost and the family, grieving and whatnot. Um, I I don't necessarily know if I really like that for a final episode. I'm okay with it because it was kind of symbolic. The way they kind of described it was kind of more of like a moving on type thing. They were kind of going with the whole, the sky paintings and stuff like that. That time moves on and everything, moves forward. And obviously it was, from our perspective watching the series, if you are as old as I am, and you started watching Pokemon since it first came out in America, at least, when it first came out in US television, um, you know, you grew up with it. And I think that kind of the whole Sunny plot is kind of more of a symbolic type of, you know time will move on past this, of Ash not being there anymore. Um that's what I think they were trying to go for with that. Um and I also think, Ash using the powers that Latias gave him, so the ghost of Sunny could touch Pikachu or pet Pikachu. I thought was kind of interesting that that apparently Ash has now like physical powers now, thanks to Latias. I told you Latias is the best legendary Pokemon. Clearly she's the best. Latias is clearly the best legendary Pokemon because she can transform. She can transform into a human girl. She can freaking give powers to humans. Like, come on now. What other legendary can do that? Like, come on now. Now, obviously, this is just the anime one. I get it. I just like. I just think it's always kind of cool. Lottie just has just these random powers that she shouldn't have. But it's the anime, so the anime logic can get away with that because we're not the games. We're not the games, people. We were anime. We're breaking that logic. Man, I just get emotional just talking about it because I mean we're talking about what my childhood was, what most people that are watching this childhood was, and even the new generation, the people, even people from like 10 years ago, say, that started getting into Pokemon, you know, and now we're, obviously the next generation that starts watching Pokemon. It's, it's a long road, it's a long series. Now, oh man. Um Now, will Ash Ketchum come back? I mean, the way they ended it, they definitely can, bring him back. Now I don't know if I'm gonna watch Horizon. I guess they're already on part 2, so I'm already late to the party as it is when it comes to Pokemon. Um, I make no bones about that. Yeah, I am late to Pokemon, but um I am late to watching these new series of Pokemon, I should say. But but no, I mean it's just will he come back? I like to think he will. It will be in a cameo perspective though. So it will be kind of weird because when Ash shows up, he's automatically probably going to be, the show stealer because the new main characters of the new series are going to be overshadowed by Ash because Ash is the main guy. You know what I'm saying? Like he'll always be the main guy of the series. So whenever you bring him back, against the new main characters, he's always going to be the one that's going to overshadow everyone else. Because, it's Ash. Ash is the main guy. So on that front, yes, will he come back? But it probably will in a limited capacity. Um, I really wish there would be more things that they can do with Ash, because obviously the way Ash ended it was that he believes he's not actually a Pokemon master. Gary asked him, how close are you to being a Pokemon master? And Ash said, being the champion isn't being the Pokemon master. It's being one with the Pokemon and being friends with, all the Pokemon. And that's what that was his idea of being the Pokemon master was. So obviously there's still more things that Ash can do. I think they could have just done this stuff while he was the main character, but of course, alas, they never did that. Because of writing limitations. Now, the new Horizon series is supposed to take place in the same universe as Ash's universe. So, same time, same place, literally. So it will be really interesting if Ash does show up. Because obviously, if they're in the same universe, then they could realistically cross paths at some point. And meet up with the new main characters. But again, I just think the way they left it didn't feel like a real conclusion, because they can't age Ash up. He's still 10 years old. The narrator even said that. He can't age. He can't, you only can really do what they've been doing with him. And as you progress with the series, they got to give new material. He's already been the champion in the Alola region. He's the undisputed champion by beating Leon, the World Cup, right? The coronation and stuff like that. I mean, what else is there, for him to do? I mean, I think he should be allowed to catch for some of those. Latios should have let himself catch him. And Latios. As I was saying, I'm like, why don't they just let him catch him? But here's the thing, though. Why don't they just let Ash catch them, and then they just go back to their island or whatever? Because that's what frickin' Go did when he caught his legendary. He went away. And, he still caught him. And he basically would come in at any time Go needed him. So they could have done the same thing with Ash. So I don't understand. I still don't understand why Ash can't catch any legendaries. Actually, he almost captured a Gyarados in the final episode too. I should have mentioned, as well, but he failed to catch it. Yeah, and it was an emotional ride watching these last batch of episodes just now, and I'll say this. I really hope one day the Pokemon Company makes a video game of Ash Ketchum. I know I've said this for a long time, and I'm sure a lot of people have said this, is why can't they make a video game of Ash? And no, I'm not talking about the Pokemon puzzle game. I'm talking about an actual game where Ash Ketchum is in the game, not Pokemon Master, because I know he's in Pokemon Masters now, but he's actually in the game. He's actually physically in the game, and it's basically his journey, basically, in a game format. Very similar to what they did with Goku, years ago with the Game Boy Advance game, The Legacy of Goku. I would like them to do a video game called The Legacy of Ash Ketchum. A game where it's just all about Ash, his journey, doing like retelling the anime and stuff like that. That's what I want to see. I want to see a game like that. I want to see them do one game with Ash Ketchum. I think it is deserving with all the years of Ash Ketchum that we have had in the anime. I think they should do this. I think they should, for the next console or whatever the next game. I know they're going to make their main series next year at some point. They're coming out with the ZA game this year. But at some point in the future, we got to have a Legends of Ash Ketchum game. Like that would sell out immediately if they did a game like that. Like, I really feel like, reliving the anime moments would be so good. It'd be so cool if they could do something like that. But yeah, guys, as always, gotta catch them all. Love this episode. And that's it. Make sure to comment, rate if you like this video and my videos. Please subscribe, hit the notification bell for the latest content. Thank you. And that's about it, guys. I am the Ultimate Goku, and I'm out of here. Gotta catch them all. Out. Peace.